Greetings everyone, and welcome to my first tutorial about Trapcode TAO, this new cool and fantastic plugin that just got released today as part of the Trapcode suite number 13, and let me say it's pretty sweet. So let's not gonna make an overview of every feature available in the plugin, but we'll get to learn about a few of them while we create a low poly style Christmas tree. So let's start by creating a new composition. Let's make it 960 by 540, and let's create a new solid, and perhaps we can call it TAO, and let's apply Trapcode TAO to that solid. And at first what we get by default is this circle of geometry, and we don't have any defined path, so we can choose from in this path generator we can choose from a circle, line, or a fractal displaced shape, and we can also use paths from TAO light. So what I tend to do at first is set up my lighting because we have a default lighting here. So but let's make an ambient light, and let's make it a little bit of sky color in there. And as soon as we do that, we're gonna lose all our details. Let's get our material shade a little bit darker, and turn that down. We're gonna need to create another light, point light. So is this a point light? No, this is a spotlight. Let's create a point light. So perhaps we can get one on top here to act as the sun. Maybe get another one to get more speck lights, like over there. On the side. And another one perhaps there. And another one that's going to be more general light. I don't know, from way over here, but very much less present. Alright, something like that maybe. Don't want all of those to be called sun. And perhaps I want a little bit more light on the rim here. I don't know. So you can set up the light any way you want. You can even use image-based lighting and get a little bit more reflection. But let's not use that for the moment. Also, in the rendering section, you have a ambient occlusion setting here. So it's not pretty much something that we can see right now. Can have a light fall off. So depending on how we want this thing to be. Anyway, so let's create our own path, because we don't want a circle. We want to generate paths from TAO lights, and duration of no keyframe. Let's set that to 1 for a moment, and size from radius, fractal amp from fall off distance. Let's turn that to on for a moment, and let's create a new light. This light, we want to make it a spotlight, and let's call this one TAO. And we want to use spotlight because it has a it has rotation angles, and we want that because Tao understands that, and we want to set perhaps the cone angle to 0 because the cone angle, perhaps if you create a line by default, you're gonna have that, and you don't want it. And another thing that we can do right off the bat is transform to make sure it doesn't orient, or maybe you want it oriented, but in this case let's turn it off, and let's bring this in the middle of our composition. So 960 divided by 2 and 540 divided by 2, so we're right at the center. The radius here, we've told it it's gonna define our size, so that's pretty cool. And the fall of distance is gonna define how it's affected by the fractal. So right now it's not gonna be affected. And let's create a those Tau lines that we're gonna use to create our path. We can make fun structures using null objects in 3D space. So let's create one. It's gonna be by default set to 0. Right in the middle of our composition, right exactly where our light is, our Tau light. So let's call this rotation Tau. Let's make another one, and let's call this move Tau. So we want to connect our light to this, and we want to connect this to that, and so can make our general size, general shape of the skeleton of our tree. Let's first get in the segments and turn off chamfer, so we have perfect triangles. And first we're gonna set up our path. So we want, this is gonna define the height of our tree. So let's go to 30 frames, and whoops, this is gonna be the tip of our tree, and at frame 0 this is gonna be the bottom. So we're gonna start to get some geometry here. And geometry, it has 3 main options in Tau. We can extrude and gone, we can repeat and gone, depending on the amount of segments that we have, and we can also repeat spheres. This we're going to repeat and gons, and we don't want to have that much, so repeating those. All right, that's what we're doing as we go upwards. This is our path. It's very simple. Then we want to add some rotation there. So this light is connected to this. So if we move the position of our light emitter, it's going to move everything. Let's set it to 200, and we can keyframe that. And if we end it at 0, then we can refresh that. It's gonna, as it goes up, it's gonna go towards the middle. Now that all, and that we want to do it. And let me undo all that. Oh no, I can't. So I made a mistake here. So let's set that back to 0, and let's do that to our light. So let's set it at minus 200, and there it's gonna end at 0. So we get back the same thing. And with the rotation, what we want to do is have it rotate on the y-axis like that. So we want to rotate it perhaps several times, like 55. And we don't have anything, so let's increase the amount of segments. So I don't know if you can understand what's happening right now as I increase the amount of segments, but let's put a lot, something like that. So as we start off, like as we go upwards, our thing rotates and it gets smaller, so it's like a cone shape, and at the same time it moves upwards. So we get this kind of, we generate shapes as we move up and as we twist around our center point. So that makes the basic shape of a tree, but perhaps we don't want those to be oriented with the paths like that. And let's have a rotation here, angle of 135. And there is no right answer here, just what this can be set to that. Yeah, all right, I think we'd better set it to that. So that's what we want. Maybe. And to have it less weird up here, we're gonna make it smaller as it goes upwards. So the radius here, it controls the size of our particle being emitted. So if we make it from 100 to 0, then it's gonna start big and it's gonna end small at the top. So we get this nice Christmas tree shape. So that's pretty cool. Let's create a camera, 50 millimeters. Let's make a dolly. Now our dolly is set. Our target cam is set at the very center of our tree here. So if we rotate that, we can spin around our tree. So our TAO light color, we want to set that perhaps to green, and that shades our tree. So let's move it upward a little bit and increase the ambient, or the diffuse, and we can even like have an offset with the color and have it darker and brighter on top. If we do that, refresh. So perhaps we want to start darker, and so this is kind of nice. Now this, let's color those. This is our first system. Let's make some decorations in there. So let's save that, and let's duplicate all that. And let's move that upwards. Let's make it yellow, and let's change the color of that to yellow. And let's see what other options are available to us. So now we are using repeating n-gons as opposed to extrude n-gons. But what if we want this one to use this option? What we can do, what TAO allows us to do, is to pass on properties in the title of our lines. That can be a little bit confusing at first, but as you get more and more used to it, you'll see that it gives us more possibilities. So let's perhaps make this mod E, so it's going to extrude now, this one. So we have a second system running in the same TAO that is a different color, and that uses a different option in terms of generation. So now we can also reduce the segments in there. So let's say we want only 40 because we don't need that much. And this one, see, we can reduce the amount of rotations, perhaps less than that. And we don't see it pretty much. We want it to be a little more outside. So instead of minus 200 on the X, let's actually bring this a little bit further. And that's a little bit weird. So that's an error I made here. All right. Oh, is that what we want? That's kind of weird. Perhaps we have to put not value here and change the rotation. Let's put only 3 rotations. All right. So we get something like that. Let's get 6 rotations. And let's reduce not that. Let's rotate the angle like that. And let's make it smaller. So now it starts at 100. Let's make it like that. And can we go in the minus? No, we can't. This. Oh no, that's the position. So 0. Yeah. 7 minus 26. Okay. So minus 7. Right. And this minus 250. All right, something like that. And if we want to offset the whole thing on Y, we can do this. So we have nice little decoration here. And what other kind of decoration we can have is the one that we hang in there. So let's make it red. And let's use the other modes for this one. So let's, if we do that, mod S, it will do repeat sphere. So let's actually make those red so we can see them. And now we can change this value here on the rotation to have a different distribution. That's not what I want. Let's put an odd number. And are there spheres? Yeah, but they don't have. They are not like very tall. So yeah. So how can we make those bigger? And since they are not like they don't have we change the size here to 30. So if we do that, they would be perfect spheres. But we want that to be a different value. So can we do that? If we say to this size Z to be 30, will that work? No. SZ minus 30 doesn't seem to work. Is it like that? also what we want to do is change the amount of sides, because we want more geometry perhaps in our spheres. Even like that would be cool, but we don't want that to affect that. So let's say here sides, we want to keep that to 3 sides. That works. And this also we want to keep to 3 sides, but not this one. And then we want to make those smaller. But how do we keep it in? How do we do that? How do we do that? Size Z. Size Z. 30. No. Size Z. 30. No. Doesn't seem to work. So I want my spheres to keep the shape that is proportional. So that's kind of bummer. Can I do that? Size Z 100. No. Size Y 100. Doesn't work. Size X 100. It doesn't work. Sorry, folks. There's another way I can think of doing that, is if we perhaps change, but not a good way. No. Let me see. Transform 0. No. Size 0. I can't see why it doesn't. It's supposed to work like that, but of course it won't. Of course it won't. Why wouldn't it? But let's keep it like that, so it used to work. No. No, that's not what I want to do. But yeah, if this would be functioning right now, we would get our segment size would be 30 on here, and I can't see why it doesn't work. Is that a bug? I mean, it doesn't make it. It doesn't make it like it should make it. I don't know why it doesn't work. But let's increase. Can we say that? Oh, the transformations are not applied on them, but they are still not correctly sized, scaled. It's not my fault. I don't know why. So for the moment, I don't see how we can have those to be perfect spheres like it should be, but it doesn't seem to want to work. So I think we'd rather leave that at 100 and then do that, and then do that, and then do that. It's as simple as that. I would like to have my triangles not stretched as much, but I'm gonna look it up on why it doesn't work as it should. What if we want to have some random in the size of our Christmas balls? And let's remove that since it doesn't work whatsoever. So let's set our radius to be smaller, and if we say here this value plus random 40, then we'll get random, and we can also randomize the position of them. So if we go there, let's say there's random 360 and copy that everywhere, and then they're gonna be facing different directions, and then we can scale it down like so, and perhaps we don't want to have any on top, so just have the radius, and so let's shut them off here, so they won't go as high. Do they still go? Oh, it's the wrong one. Then I messed up. This thing has got to go minus this, and this thing has to go up there, and then we can delete this one, put this there. Oh no. Alright, they have to go pretty much higher than that, so that's a little bit weird. Okay, I got this there, so let's go up. Oh no, not down, let's go up to here, higher. There we go. So there we have a Christmas tree. You can finish it off. A nice background. Add a ramp. Radial. Dark green blue. And, that's the other way around I want it. Let's see. Something like that. And we can rotate around. If we want the light to follow as we rotate around, we can simply do that. So, and now that we've done that, it's just as if you can also go in Tau when you have world transform properties here. But you always want to keep those at 0 and use them in some other way if you really need to use them. Let's make a emphasis on our light here. So this is a little trick I use just to make it a little bit just to get a little bit of light direction in there. Maybe that's you're looking to achieve. Can perhaps tint it down or add some curve effect here. Tint it a bit. So that's a Trapcode TAO. Yeah.